Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and coin factory family? Welcome back once again to another daily live stream. And as we look at the market chart right now, the market's opened and we have seen a little bit of a green candle, which, truth be told, is not too unexpected as investors realize that the looming catalyst or the looming development that would cause a lot of headwinds, the government shutdown, is not here yet. We've still got some time and people are eagerly awaiting for Jerome Powell and what he has to say on Wednesday. This has been quite the start of a week. Bitcoin's currently valued at 88k, but it's not really making any definitive signs to want to pump up towards the 90s right now, in my belief. Right now, we are above this critical level of resistance here, which is good. So we can end today's trading day above 87.8 or 88,000. Then we could start seeing Bitcoin make a bit of a rally. But in my personal belief, not financial advice, of course, as we approach the end of this week and the end of the month, end of January, if there is no verdict, no further developments or solution or resolution even to the decision between Dems and Republicans, and therefore people going to a furlough, we're going to end up seeing a government shutdown, which will cause some headwinds. One thing I have to say is please be careful on who you listen to in this space. I am by no means perfect. I very much accept that. I'm not perfect, but I do always try my best to verify the sources that I'm looking into. This here is a notorious XRP account, which just so happened to pop up on my timeline, funnily enough. And the post here is like, it's official, there will be no shutdowns in the United States of America, bullish for crypto XRP. This is not true. The bill that is currently being delayed, the DHS funding, this is the same bill, and this was passed through the House. It got stopped at the Senate. So this is not incorrect, but this was before the fact of where we're at right now. Right now, we are in a position where the possibilities of seeing a government shutdown is high and the odds are increasing. And as such, we are expecting a lot of turbulent times in this market. That's what the research from Wells Fargo that we just posted in our VIP community suggests, and all the other sources as well that suggest what is to come in the short, mid, and long term, which you can find out more about that in the VIP community. Now, we have got some other updates. We've seen some other development for the market structure bill, some Casper updates. I'm going to also do a small recap in regards to what I mentioned and spoke about in the video I posted recently on my channel. Some interesting news, building more so on what Roy O'Neill from the KI had spoke about in last week's Blockchain Banter live with me and Jer. So we're talking about that a little bit, about what Dow Jones stated and what they say is a very big deal, considering that they have been about since before the Great Depression and have survived the Great Depression and 2 world wars and the 2008 financial crisis. So they are, if anything, the perfect example to people on how to survive times of mass crisis and black swan events. They are the ultimate survival guide, if you will. That's how I phrased it in my video. We'll go through that as well in a moment. And some other interesting posts as well. Right now, there's not too much to be too concerned about in the markets, at least not for the time being. We're going to probably see a lot more volatility from Wednesday onwards, because that's when you've got the FOMC meeting, then you've got certain reports, and then you got the actual verdict on whether we get a shutdown or not on Friday as we go into Saturday. Welcome back, Blaze. Hope you're doing very well, my man. And you too, Antonio Ahoy family. Have you heard about the Forbes article about Casper? I have not. I know there has been many Forbes articles on Casper in the past. I have not heard of any recent Forbes article coming out. But it's always nice to see Forbes, which is a very, quite well respected and quite big news publication, talking about crypto and especially Casper, given its current position in the market. If we look at market right now on CMC for Casper, sitting at a 1.15 bill market cap, rank 62, so we are now out of the top 50 by quite a bit now. Not too worrisome. Currently got 28.4 million at 24-hour trading volume, which is being mainly used up by the likes of HTX here. MEXC is at 9%, and equally Gates also at 9% as well. HCX is dominating right now with the volume, but Kaspa volume is still quite far down as well. That for me though is not too concerning based on the information that I had posted on Twitter recently, and equally based on this article we spoke about a bit more recently from Dow Jones about ultimately how price is just relative, and it's really something that we should not be. It's not a matter of not focusing on it, but it's a case of we shouldn't be making judgments on projects based purely off price. Because if that was the case, then people would never make money, people would never invest. Because people who got into Solana back at $18 or $9, they made absolute bank in that bear to bull run when it soared up to over $100 plus, currently at 124, and it was even at 200 earlier, this in the last year. So, and even higher than that before that. So price is definitely not a metric you should use to determine the value of a project. Of course, that's the current market value of the project, but the actual intrinsic underlying value should be determined from much more than just simply the price on the daily. Welcome back, Crypto. You're doing very well, man. Yeah, you've seen it. The one that said Israeli answer to Bitcoin or whatever. I have seen it. Oh, is it that article? Oh, that's quite a dated article then. Yeah, no, I have seen that article. If you're talking about, I thought you were saying it was a new Forbes article. If you're talking about the Forbes article that came out sometime last year, where they basically were just saying how Casper is the Israeli answer to Bitcoin, then I think I already made a video on that. Probably would have already made a video on that. That's a year ago, 7 months ago in a stream. Yeah, so yeah, it would have been probably about 7 months ago or so then. So quite a dated one. And yeah, I mean, well, I think when I analyzed that post from Forbes, my perception of it was them talking about Casper's all well and good, but the terminology used was not accurate at all, because calling it an Israeli coin is not factually correct. The developers behind Casper are from Israel, but it's a centralized project, so it's not an Israeli coin, and those who perceive it as such don't understand the project of Casper. That's the black and white element of that. Anyways, welcome back, family, once more to the channel. As we look at the market right now, Bitcoin up to 88,000, up 2% right now. I'm not surprised too much by this current price and this momentum. If we could finish today above this zone, that'd be nice, above the 88, 87K zone. Although once it comes to Wednesday, Jerome Powell's speech will have a lot of implications on the market, and then that will lead into Friday, to which we may end up seeing that government shutdown. Right now, if we look on Forex, we can see the current developments we're looking out for, as I highlighted already, was the FOMC statement. To reiterate, Jerome Powell's not going to cut rates. It's highly unlikely. We're going to not see any rate cuts. So what actually we're looking out for is what he says in the speech. What he says there will have a lot more implications on the market and how we're going to be performing and how the economy is going to be performing in the short term as well. And then we got some unemployment claims coming out the day afterwards, which could also be quite important. And then you got PPI and core PPI coming out on the Friday, and that will be potentially the last reports we get if we go into another government shutdown. We saw what happened in October, where reports were delayed. We didn't get much macro data at all, and even then there's some macro data that has not been released at all. So we still have got some macro data that has yet to come out. So a government shutdown would not be ideal, of course, and the markets will react likely negatively when it happens, if it happens. We have to wait and see. I think the final decision will happen on the Friday, but from what I have seen from people that I've listened to, and I care to agree right now, I don't think neither Dems nor Republicans are going to budge in this. The Republicans right now, they don't want to budge in the funding, and the Dems don't want to budge in giving the funding. So you're going to likely see a forced furlough, everyone, government shutdown, which is going to lead to the delay of the market structure bill, the Clarity Act, which we're still waiting for. And we have actually got some news on that, which, because of the current weather conditions happening in America, which for those who are caught in that, stay safe out there. They have rescheduled the event, the SEC and CFTC event has been rescheduled, and the market structure bill has also been rescheduled as well. If I quickly double check that as well, I saw it earlier. Yeah, here, the meeting on Thursday, January 29th at 10 a.m. I imagine EST, 10:30 a.m. It has been rescheduled as well. It was meant to happen tomorrow, Now, this is not too concerning. We'd like to see, hopefully, this pass on the Thursday, which means that you are in a bit of a solid position as we move further and deeper into the year. We have to wait and see, because I still think there's a bit of butting of heads as US banks and the Dems desperately want to stand strong on not allowing stablecoin yields to be and rewards to be earned by any crypto firm or anything like that. They want them to basically make all the profits to kind of continue what they're doing right now with fiat, but doing it in the crypto world, which Coinbase are very much not on board with that. Whether we'll see Coinbase just roll over, or whether we see a continued negotiation going on, time will tell ultimately. But with the potential of a government shutdown on the Friday, this further meetings and negotiations regarding this could also be drawn to a halt as well. And then when the midterms start, if we haven't got a resolution before that, then when the midterms start, you probably won't see politicians and Congress have much time to be focusing on this. They'll be focusing purely on their campaigns. So we are actually in very much, as the title says, a make or break week for crypto. And by make or break week, I don't mean we're going to necessarily go into a sort of bear cycle type of thesis. I mean, people are saying it more and more now, seeing more crypto influencers and crypto content creators saying that we could be in for a bear cycle. I'm still not on that stance just yet, based on all the information that I've looked into and the research I've been doing for the 2-3+ years, well, even longer than that. But the community, the VIP community, and the information I've been talking about on this channel for the past 2 whatever years, I don't think we're going to a bear cycle just yet. I still am very much under the belief of an extended cycle, given that we still have not surpassed that 50 ISM. The business cycle still not surpassed 50. We've been below 50 pretty much continuously for the past 4 years, give or take 3.5-4 years. So I still think we've got that push to happen. We'll see the rotation out of the safe havens into your risk on equities, stocks, crypto especially. It's just a case of when it's going to happen. My current thesis, my 2026 outlook is we could see more headwinds. We could see Bitcoin come down further. It depends on what Jerome Powell says. And if we do get this government shutdown. The government shutdown has overall negative implications, but it does mean that the Fed will be flying blind again. And typically during a government shutdown, the Fed have to act on the side of caution, which more often than not means either doing nothing or cutting rates, because they're worried about the economy just crumbling. So it can potentially be perceived as relatively reassuring, but that's a small kind of sprinkle of sugar, if you will, in what is quite a sour taste it's going to be if we do get government shutdown again. I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin make another push towards the support band down here of around 82.5 to around 84k again. We might see it come down a little bit further. I did say in a video that I made a few days back, if we could potentially see Bitcoin return to the lows we saw after Liberation Day or around Liberation Day. If we get an extended government shutdown, sentiment continues to deteriorate, then it's very much on the cards. Doesn't mean the cycle is going to necessarily be over. Not in my belief. I know we keep sentiment's really, really bad right now. Of course it is. And that actually was a video that I had posted to VIPs earlier, which came from Bitwise, where they had explained that crypto Twitter is bearish, and it's understandable, but he believes, and I also agree, that it's overly bearish, because what retail seem to fail to understand is that we are in an institutionally driven cycle now, and there is $7 trillion+ sitting in money market funds that's waiting to be pushed into these markets. They're waiting for clarity, waiting for confirmation that risk on is the sentiment, and we're not there yet. With the growth of AI, which seems to still be growing, with all the other catalysts coming through, with what we're seeing from Dow Jones, I'm under the belief that we still have a lot more to go this year. We just might see a longer accumulation period for us. Whether it be a few months, whether it be half a year, we'll have to wait and see. And we'll keep talking about it daily. Especially we'll have a bit more of a roadmap, if you will, once we have got these developments taking shape, like if we get a government shutdown, like when we get the Market Clarity Act implemented into law. In regards to some other, this is the main focus of today's stream that I wanted to really kind of dissect a little bit more. This is just a quick snippet of the article. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. And this is an article that I've already explained to with my VIPs. The whole documentation and links are available in there as well. The main part for me that's so important is this particular quote here, which I'll load it up on here because you can't see the full thing here. In 2026, the winners won't be companies with the best product demos or highest valuations. Instead, the winners will be the ones that boast sustainable economics, regulatory compliance, and balance sheets strong enough to survive the stress test ahead. The way this reads to someone who may not understand the language they're using is companies or assets or crypto in this instance that are focusing on the flashiest marketing tactics and the highest price, they're going to be short-lived. So when you're looking at your SUIs, your XRPs, whatever it may be, doesn't mean they're not going to do well, of course. They have got some infrastructure and they are being utilized, but they're the ones that have pushed out marketing. You know, they've got that under wraps and they've got high prices as well. But that's not the focus of Wall Street. Dow Jones, for reference, those who may not understand who they are, I did give a rundown in the video I just posted, but Dow Jones, they have the DJIA, which is the top 30 United States blue chip. We're talking Disney, we're talking Microsoft, we're talking Apple. Dow Jones, the market cap, when you look at Dow Jones, that's the representation of trillions and trillions of dollars. And Dow Jones has been founded. It was founded back in the 1800s, 1890s. So Dow Jones has survived the Great Depression, World War I and World War II, and the 2008 financial crisis. So they are battle tested. They know how to survive black swan events and crises. They are, as I perceived in my video, the survival guide. What they say has so much significance and holds a lot of weight, which is why when I'm looking at this article and talking about it with my VIPs on the 3 factors they deem to matter the most for investors in AI, crypto, and tech stocks, I'm taking that very heavily into account. I'm analyzing what they're saying and correlating this to what assets they may be referencing. To just pick out one section of it, right here at the bottom, regarding AI, regarding AI, but actually regarding everything in general. The AI hype of 2023 or 2021's crypto speculation won't repeat in 2026. So we saw an AI run in 2023 that was built off hype and FOMO. We saw 2021 crypto saw leaps and bounds with Bitcoin making a double top, and that was all a speculative move that let it rally up higher. But that's not going to repeat this year. This year, what matters, what investors, institutions demand is accountability. So in regards to this, you need proof, evidence that AI spending generates productivity. You don't want to just have something that says it's going to do well. You need the proof, evidence there. Evidence that tokenization delivers efficiency and the demonstrations that crypto serves real economic needs. This is one reason why I still continue to stay very bullish on Kaspa, especially considering we have institutions like KII. And they have multiple projects that are being released. They have Warp Core already in a sandbox environment that bridges the regulatory gaps that the Dow Jones and many other leading firms, Baker McKinsey, BNY Mellon, are all talking about regulatory hurdles being such a crucial issue. Warp Core bridges that gap amongst many other benefits it provides as well. You've got Gigawatt, you've got ZETX, you've got the new GeoSil that's already live, which is so significant because as we just go back to that, they're talking about proof. Proof that crypto serves real economic needs, proof that tokenization delivers efficiency, proof that AI spending is all about accountability, about proof. And GeoSil is a proof of place, proof of existence built on Kaspa. Is literally all coded into the blockchain. You can see all the evidence there. GeoSil provides cryptographic proof of place and proof of existence for people, assets, and key events anchored immutably on Kaspa. As Rory explained in the Blockchain Banter live that we did last week Tuesday, Rory explained that in the instance of if you were to take in a shipment, an oil tanker shipment on the sea or whatever it may be, a shipment from the sea, these transactions, these decisions, it will be written in and inscribed onto the Casper block tag, onto the protocol, which gives immutable. It gives cryptographic proof that this oil tanker, this shipping container, had arrived at the port. Then the truck picked up the container and the delivery in question. They picked it up from that ship and drove it to point A to point B. You get the proof of that transaction as well, and you get the proof of people who also are in there, but also done in a what's the word I'm looking for? In a concealed manner where it's not going to leak sensitive information. It proves in a way that cannot be written later than. A person was present, an asset existed, an event occurred at a specific place with defined bounds at a specific time. Rory also confirmed that they are already Geosource live and they're already working on it with, I believe it was 16,000 institutions or something he said. That they're already getting it coincides with the Olive chain they're working on as well, which is massive news as well. GeoSeal is not just tracking, it provides international event-based attestation only when invoked. This distinction is critical for enterprises and regulatory use, and the reason it matters, CBAM requires proof of where production actually occurred. Logistics require providable chain of custody events. Real-world asset requires proof that assets exist in the real world, and energy and infrastructure require verifiable on-site events. Nothing works without proof. Nothing is trusted without regulators, without proof. And Warp Core and KRI and GeoSeal, all the projects being built on top of Casper, is a way of doing it where it keeps Casper decentralized. It keeps Casper as the layer one, the native layer one decentralized that it is. And it leverages that technology and bridges that gap between DeFi and Casper and TradFi with institutions. They haven't got to change a thing. That's the biggest issue. Be it your Bank of America's, your Wells Fargo's, your big banks, they don't want to have to learn a whole new set of infrastructure and build on top of that. They want to just have their current infrastructure and plug and play it into something else. No one wants to rewire the whole system. It's not easy work. Not that I know how to do that, but you can imagine. It wouldn't be easy to try and rewire your entire banking network, your backlog of information to rewire all into a blockchain. It's not easy. You'd ideally want to just plug it into a system when needed, and it just finds relative information. That's what could be done with the KRI projects on Casper, and we are just early. And because it's enterprise, it's unlikely we're going to see much in regards to retail. They have said that some stuff will be public, retail will be able to see it, and also there'll be instances where it will be retail available, but we may just not realize it. The same way how you don't realize you type in HTTP on the internet when you're doing a Google search. HTTP is the protocol underneath it. You won't necessarily realize that you're running on top of something that may be KII project. You don't know it yet. So this is something that I think is massively overlooked, in all honesty. And there's also a reason why, while we do these streams daily and while we talk about price action, the long possibilities, the short possibilities, I'm currently actually in a short trade setup thinking that we could see a bit of a pullback. And I will show the results I say hopefully when it prints, but no one wants to go down, but I think there's a possibility to come down. We talk about the price, but these are purely just the price is always for me something that is relevant and important if you are someone who trades. If you're an investor, this day-to-day stuff is almost irrelevant. What matters more so is what we do more so, which is the education that comes from this. What's being built, what these leading enterprises are focusing on, what they prioritize. They don't prioritize price. They don't care about price. They care about infrastructure that will boost or boast sustainable economics, that will boast regulatory compliance, and a balance sheet strong enough to survive the stress test ahead. Casper's 10 BPS architecture is the balance sheet that is strong enough to survive the potential crisis that's unfolding before us. That's why I remain bullish on Casper. That's why you're seeing Wells and big holders continuing to stack Casper as well. Greg has been doing a lot of analysis on these wallets and realized that, funnily enough, every time Wallet 1 buys, seemingly Wallet 9 starts buying as well now. Wallet 1 bought 2.3 mil Casper, Wallet 9 bought 3.7 mil Casper. This seemed to have been from BitGet here. So it looks like BitGet's now be getting some love. from wallet one. It used to only be Gate and occasionally Bybit, and then it used to be a bit of KuCoin. Now you're getting it from multiple platforms. Now BitGet is getting a look in. So whoever this is, they're buying off BitGet, they're buying off Bybit, they're buying off Gate, they're buying off KuCoin, they're buying off Kraken. We don't know who it is. I like to believe it's likely a market maker of sorts. Maybe it's just someone who's really convicted in Casper. It's a massive whale. I'd hope it's the former, so therefore it could actually correlate to the funds from a market maker being shifted towards a listing for another tier 1 exchange later on. But be it as it may, it's still seeing some inflows there. And then in wallet 9 here, we haven't got exactly the name of the wallet here, but we are seeing more and more inflows coming from this wallet as well. We're seeing a lot coming from Kraken. So we are seeing inflows coming continuously, and we've got much more to come as well. Welcome back, Gosu Bro. You're doing very well. Antonio, my band never saw it. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, there aren't that many fraud articles regarding Casper anyways, so you know it wouldn't surprise me either way. But yeah, it's quite a dated article, and right now I don't think it's too relevant. But I mean, yeah, it's still nice to reminisce on what we saw way back when. Good evening, Greza. And you too, Dimmer. Casper is better than Bitcoin. We hope so, and we believe so. The architecture definitely is. The price most definitely isn't. But hopefully, in regards to what we're seeing, these institutions want what they believe the winners to be. Like, as you're talking about the best product demos and highest valuation who won't win, Bitcoin is right now that. Bitcoin hasn't got good infrastructure in regards to it being usable. It's too slow. So right now, Bitcoin very much is the highest valuation. It's just very expensive. But that means you're going to see adoption still as a store of value. And the same thing, what Dow Jones and these institutions are highlighting is not that these, you know, high value assets and the ones who do marketing won't do well. That's not what they're saying at all. They're just saying that the winners, so the ones that will actually survive the test of time and outperform everything in the long run, will be the ones that are focusing on sustainable economics, that are focusing on regulatory, bridging the regulatory gap, and focusing on balance sheet that is strong enough to survive the test of time, infrastructure that can survive a financial crisis. That's what they are focusing on. And that's what Casper has. Its infrastructure has been coded that way since the very beginning. And KI recognize that. That's why they're building so many projects on board right now. They even announced a new one, which we spoke about, I think, yesterday, Egen, which I don't think anyone's given an answer. I haven't seen any response or any answer that suggests that people know what it is. They just say that this is an important Lego brick component to assist from a financial market perspective. Works now, but will be turbocharged with VPROGs and will be available day one when testnet 12 goes mainnet. We are now waiting for the paper to be published. It's new and novel. It touches most of what KI are building and is a long time in the work. So this is huge. We haven't got an exact understanding of who it is, but we do know in regards to testnet 12, this is regarding Covenant++, and we saw from Michael Sutton that we could potentially see these Covenant++ being mainnet ready or testnet mainnet ready before the end of this quarter. So if this does happen, we could see one of the seemingly more important Lego bricks that helps bridge the gap between TradFi and DeFi on Casper be going live by the end of this quarter in the next 2 months, which would be huge. And then turbocharged with VPROGs and much more coming as well. KI have really kicked it into gear. It seems like 2024, when they were first established, was a year of just kind of feeling around, getting their idea and understanding of Casper improve more and more. 2025, last year, was the year they started actually expressing it and kind of shilling it, if you want a better choice of words, to DI and the enterprise clients, to the point now where they are now very intrigued by it. 2026, we are currently 26 days into it. About 4 weeks. And in those 4 weeks, we've seen the release of Walk Corner Sandbox Environment, GeoSil, many other major announcements. We had that blockchain banter live. KI have announced so much. And it does, I understand why people are hesitant from the KI. I can get it because, you know, there hasn't been much evidence, you know, feasible evidence that we can see what they've been doing. So you're going to act hesitant, of course you are. So you're right to be acting conservative. from what I have listened to, from the information that I've done, the research that I've conducted, what I'm hearing them talk about, and then the stuff I'm looking at here, I think that they are legit. I choose to believe they're legit. I think they have, I mean, the companies that are partnered with, SGCC, one of the big three, or the top three in Fortune 500 global. They are a significant powerhouse in the world as we know it. And the project they have built with Casper, the support they have, is something that's going to significantly impact the price when adoption takes off, which the question, of course, is always when. When Lambo, when Moon. Welcome back, Wing Hong. Hope you're doing very well. HTTPS, yes. I might have said that wrong, but yeah, HTTPS. No one types that in when you're looking on YouTube. You type www. Or sometimes you just type in YouTube. But the HTTPS, no one types that in, but that's the protocol that you run on. It's the same thing when in the future to be when everything's running on blockchain, you won't be typing in, HTTPS or whatever the equivalent is for crypto. It will just be running on top of it, invisible to the naked eye. Unless you're someone who's been at the very beginning and you know the coding, you won't recognize it at all. That's what I believe Casper can be in the future as well. So yes, we have got short-term volatility, delays in the market structure bill, FUD growing, government shutdown imminent. Jerome Powell may be a saving grace potentially on Wednesday. We have to wait and see. As I mentioned briefly, have got a short setup in play in anticipation we do see a pullback in the markets, which I will post when it fills, or I'll post to my VIPs when it fills even. And we're doing a lot more trades during this time right now as well, because a way to try and at least make some gains, because the markets have become volatile, but I say a bit more telegraphed now, given that it's quite obvious what impacts markets. Geopolitical tensions, FUD, markets go down. None of it. The markets kind of just stay chopping sideways or even start going up. And while we're in a period of uncertainty is when the markets seem to be going down as well. But as I also highlighted, me and my VIPs, we don't look at just Casper. A lot of us are all are bullish on Casper, but we look at many other aspects as well. And as this article also highlighted, it talks about AI as well. Now I wanted to quickly play this video, which comes from the WEF Davos event, where you can see NVIDIA CEO here talking about GPUs and effectively the rise of AI and what we're seeing right now. And this is very, very important to the AI sector of crypto, in my belief, and also in Casper, because you need data centers really to have the power energy to run AI, and Casper's being utilized that by DRI and KRI. But we're going to see a rise in AI this year, in my belief. And in particular to what we're talking about right now, this is why I'm extremely bullish on particular Render. I've mentioned that I like Tau, I like Render, Virtuals, and the other assets that are here as well. Render for me is one that I am particularly bullish on because of their infrastructure. So listen very closely here to this interview from the NVIDIA CEO.
And so one good test on the AI bubble is to recognize that NVIDIA has now millions of NVIDIA GPUs in the cloud. We're in every cloud, we're used everywhere. And if you try to rent an NVIDIA GPU these days, it's so incredibly hard. And the spot price of GPU rentals is going up. Not just the latest generation, but 2-generation-old GPUs. The spot price of rentals are going up. And the reason for that is because the number of AI companies that are being created, the number of companies shifting their R&D budget. Lilly is a great example. 3 years ago, most of their R&D budget, all of their R&D budget, was probably wet labs. Notice the big AI supercomputer that they've invested in, the big AI lab, increasingly that R&D budget is going to shift towards AI. And so the AI bubble comes about because the investments are large. And the investments are large because we have to build the infrastructure necessary for all of the layers of AI above it. And so I think the opportunity is really quite extraordinary. And everybody ought to get involved. Everybody ought to get engaged. We need more energy. I think that we all recognize that. We need more land power and shell. We need more trade skill workers. And in fact, that population of workforce is so strong here in Europe. Yes. In a lot of ways, the United States lost that in the last 20, 30 years. But it's strong here in Europe. It's an extraordinary.
There are a number of key points that we can nitpick there from NVIDIA. One is that we need more energy, meaning we need more data centers, which, as we know, DRI are building them. They have projects and roadmaps to build them in the Middle East, and they want to do it with Casper. I'll even show the post right here if you don't believe me, which I know you do, because most of you here are Casper holders. If you're new, here's the evidence. You can see DII doing it with the enterprise clients in Mazda, talking about building with Casper right here. This is all talking about energy outlook, renewables, hydrogen, and energy storage, all correlated into data centers. And they even had an article on that, which I have posted in my Discord community, both the free and the VIP as well. More of a breakdown in both. So we know that data centers are needed. That's what DRI and KR are looking at. It's interesting how you're seeing this industrial arm of Casper, and they seem to always be in the right sectors, like they know how the elites think, because they are a group of elitists. FGGC, massive companies, Shell, PwC, DHL, Hyundai, Bosch, EDF, GE Vernova, Siemens. Like they are all the biggest, most established, longest running companies in a sort of group of people who have come together to try and find the next solution, as you want, and this is what they're looking at. So NVIDIA here, we need more energy. The AI, we are in a bubble. That is evident. Doesn't take a child to figure that out. We're in a bubble, but that bubble is not seemingly going to burst just yet. They also mentioned near the beginning of it how GPU renting has become so excruciatingly expensive, especially 2-3 generations back. Even the old generations are still expensive because it costs so much to continue to generate these chips. It's just so much money. That is why I believe in render. That in itself alone is why I believe in render, because render, to give it a nice tag on it, is perceived as the Airbnb for GPUs, where you can rent this power for cheap. The idle GPU power that's not being used, you can rent that and utilize that for your needs. The world needs GPUs, and it's sold out of demand in 2026 and beyond. Going to get spicy. This is a new pillar in crypto. This is just very much a catered post, hitting all those buzzwords. But I do agree with the sentiment. I think AI is going to be huge this year. In my AI playbook, render is one of the assets that's in them. There are many others in there as well. You can go find out more about the AI playbook and the information regarding why we believe it's going to be so big in the VIP community. But render being this Airbnb for GPU power, render is going to be one that I think could be very, very big. And we're going to see that continue to rally up more and more, and you can see Casper benefit from that as well. Rory explained that last week about how the growth of AI results in the growth of data centers result in the need for a high fidelity decentralized infrastructure to handle that. Casper's that layer. And we can see the work KI are doing, significant work. They're all releasing their projects now bit by bit. So we are in a very privileged position, in my belief. While markets are terrible and prices down and people are frustrated, most people end up making their money during the bear to bull. That's when people make their money most of the time. They don't make their money all in the bull market. They buy in the dip and they let it go up. Now, we could see more pullback in the short term. I have been very transparent about that. But all my evidence, all my research, which you can learn from and prepare yourself from, that I post to my VIP, suggests that this year is going to be a big one. This comes from the documentation they publicize and the ones that are also confidential. Documentation in there that suggests that this year is going to be big as we make this transition to digital assets, to tokenization, to crypto, to AI. A new change in world order, revolution happening right here in front of our eyes. It's textbook what's happening. Thank you very much again, Wing. I appreciate you. Could Eden Flow be related to Eden Cloud? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I'm sure we'll figure out more. Truth be told, KRI, Rory, he loves to talk. We know he loves to talk, and we appreciate him very much for that. I would not be surprised if later today on the Blockchain Banter Twitter with Lev and Chris, he ends up talking a bit about it. I don't think Roy will be scheduled to talk, but knowing him, he'll be like, "Do you want me to talk for a bit? I'll explain something." He might even leak a bit about Agent Flow here so we can find out more about what it actually is. But it already have given us quite a decent insight into why it's so important and what it is, you know, about why we should be excited about it and how better it will become once the big Casper upgrades come through, which are coming through in the next few months. The fact of the matter is, people are so overly bearish because the price is bad, and I get that, but the developments are astounding. I haven't seen any project in this space build like Casper. Not seen any project build like Casper. It's ridiculous. We're still so early. Especially when referred to as a Lego brick. Yeah, I mean, again, you may well be right. I'm looking forward to hear what Roy has to say about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is another thing. We have, from our understanding now, we have GeoSeals now live, Walk Course live in a sandbox environment. And we have many other projects that are being released as we speak. Dimitar says I switched on all my miners to support the hash rate. Whoa, shout out to you. I know that you have already expressed beforehand that you turned a lot, if not all of them off, because the hash rate was just, we weren't making money from it, and I get that. And yeah, right now, I don't mind Casper, full disclosure, but I understand that mining a Casper right now, because the price is so bad, is not profitable, and therefore more miners are being turned off. But one thing that I've been seeing a lot about recently, which is probably another misconception, is the severity and issue of the hash rate. Don't get me wrong, it is a problem, but hash rate is, for me, another correlation to the price of a project. Because if the project's doing really well and hash rate's down, that's an issue. But we know when Casper's doing well, hash rate's up. Casper price is not doing well, hash rate's down. Of course it is, because you're not going to have the same level of hash rate above one extra hash per second when the price is down 80% from all-time highs. So those who are continuing to mine are not just helping with the hash rate and sustain the network, but they also, with more miners turning themselves off, they're actually receiving more rewards, technically speaking, because they have less competition. But you switch them all back on, Dimitar, then shout out to you, my man. I'm very surprised you like Tau. Tau, I will never buy. Tau has validated concentration, making it partially centralized. Here's the thing, right? Pretty much every single crypto, bar Casper, is centralized. Every crypto, bar Casper, is centralized. We are very well aware of that. I've given a full rundown about Tau, the goods, the bads, the cause for concerns in that AI playbook that I posted in my VIPs. I have the whole, I have probably the deepest of rundown you can have about Tau, and then just with that document alone, you will know all the history you need to know about Tau, and then any other information will just be an added benefit for you. I'm very well aware that Tau has centralization concerns. Same thing with literally every project in this space has centralization concerns. There's a reason why Cas is my biggest bag, because for me it's the safest to get into, most trustworthy. But the whole world is centralized. And I do believe Casper will take off. But as a hedge in regards to what's happening right now and the speed in which it's happening, I'm looking at AI infrastructures. Tau has good infrastructure. Its subnets create an environment where AI and machine learning modules can compete against each other and learn together. That's one big requirement that these institutes are looking into, where generative AI can learn. What better environment than subnets for Tau? They're lacking in GPU power. We just heard that from NVIDIA. What better project, therefore, than Render? And you can go down the list of other AI assets in regards to their benefits. Now, some of them will have certain benefits, but they'll be in a more speculative bracket because they're smaller and aren't as batch tested or proven. But there is a benefit to them. So frankly speaking, and you're not incorrect, but when you look at any project in this space, 9 out of 10 are going to be centralized. So, and I understand that. That's why I always tweak my risk to reward accordingly when I'm looking at assets. I'm bullish on Tau, I'm bullish on Render, I'm the most bullish on Casper, and I'm bullish on some other assets as well, be it reward assets and AI. I made some gains on them already this year. And I've mentioned this I've showcased the assets we're looking into in the VIP. So, it's just a case of taking the opportunities while they're available. If you want to find out more, learn what assets we're looking into, the playbooks, the information, the trade alerts, and everything else, check out the VIP. Links down below in the description. You can join for 7-day free. Equally a 1-month free trial through our affiliate exchange BYDFI, and the information about that is available in our free server, so go check that out as well while you're at it. No wallet for Android. What to dump when beginning is not good. I'm not entirely sure what we're referencing here. I'm guessing you're talking about Tau still. I'm guessing. You might need to clarify what asset you're talking about there, Dimitar. And if you're talking about Tau, well, truth be told, Tau's price action has been eerily close to Casper's. If you look at Tau's price here and compare that with Casper's, it has been eerily similar. It has been an eerily, like you saw a run up in 23, slight pullback, top in March for them, or even April here, come back down, double top or close to making another high near the end of the year, and then it's been down since. Casper, price-wise, at least the exact same story. You had a top 24, then you had almost a double top here in December, and it's been down ever since. That's also why I reiterate once again, price for me is not irrelevant. I have to try and keep make that clear. Price is not irrelevant, but you shouldn't judge the value of a project based on the price alone. The price can be an indication that the project's not good, so that's why it's not irrelevant. But you need to understand the inner workings of a project to determine whether it's actually good enough for you to invest into it or not. I perceive that Casper is a fantastic project despite the price being terrible right now. The same goes for many other assets in this space. They may not hold a candle to Casper, but I think they still have benefits. And the more we look into the information, the more we keep researching, the stronger my conviction gets. That's why with the government shutdown looming and all the other seemingly headwinds that are coming in, I get giddy, honestly, because I'm like, cool, I can continue to accumulate at lower prices. And when this bull market does start again and we go into risk on the markets explode, I'm sitting on a very, very big bag. And I'm going to be very, very rich. We're hopefully all going to be very, very rich. But we are very much in risk off. Gold's at all-time highs, surpassed 5K like we spoke about yesterday. I said it was going to happen, it did. Silver even surpassed 115 earlier. It's come back a bit now. Even then, silver's still at 107. So we're still very much in risk off. We'll see where it goes. If we go into a government shutdown, you'll likely see another push from risk off again. Here are only Kappa Maxis. Here predominantly are Kappa Maxis. I think right now, especially, yes, it's probably only Kappa Maxis. Will that be the case forever? Who knows? Because this channel is not only a Casper channel, it's a crypto channel. But it has been built off the foundation of Casper, so Casper is the main focus, of course. But yeah, Casper Maxi is the biggest community for me, and it's the best community for me. So I'm not by any means upset by that in the slightest. Yeah. With that being said, family, though, that will conclude today's crypto and predominantly Casper live stream. Thank you all for tuning in once more. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, helps out more than you know. Share your friends and subscribe for more. To learn more about crypto and Casper and other means, check out the free Discord server, check out BYDFI, the affiliate exchange, to get many benefits of trading, and equally check out the VIP to get access to trade alerts and information and live streams and much, much more. That being said, family, have a great day, good evening, and good night. And I will see you all tomorrow for the next one, where we will be doing our exclusive with Wolfie and Seb with Crypto Pumps and myself. Going to be a big one, so listen very closely for that as well. So